Hey everyone, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button if you want stories that hit deep and feel real. The night smelled like champagne and old oak. Our 20th anniversary party was in full swing, the grand hall alive with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft hum of a jazz trio tucked in the corner. I adjusted my tie in the mirror behind the buffet table, feeling a lump in my throat that wasn't from nerves, or at least not entirely. She was across the room, my wife, Anna, laughing at something one of our college friends said. Her hair caught the chandelier's golden glow, and for a moment, I almost believed the decades of us had been perfect. Almost. I could see it in the small ways she moved, how she kept checking her phone, how she smiled too brightly at messages I didn't know about, how she sometimes drifted away mid-conversation. I tried to tell myself I was imagining things, that 20 years of marriage came with distractions. But the truth had been whispering at me for months, a tension that had no sound but made the air thick. I walked past the dessert table, feeling the crowd blur around me. The caramel of the flan, the sharp bite of the lemon tart. It was all just background now. My best friend nudged me, whispering, "You're going to kill it up there," and I forced a smile. I wasn't sure what I was going to say, only that I needed to speak. Anna caught my gaze for a split second, and I saw something flicker. Something I couldn't name. Was it guilt? Anticipation? Or was it something darker, hiding behind her practiced smile? My pocket buzzed, a message lighting up the screen. I didn't check it. I didn't want to. Not yet. I took a deep breath. The microphone in my hand, suddenly heavier than it should have been. The room quieted as I stepped onto the small platform. Faces turned to me. Friends, family, all waiting for the toast that should have been light and joyful. But my eyes never left hers, because I knew something she wasn't ready to say, and I had no idea if I could. I cleared my throat, the first words caught between my teeth, heart-hammering, and then I spoke. The room leaned in with polite smiles as I raised a microphone, but my gaze never left Anna. 20 years, I started, my voice steadied, and I felt 20 years of laughter, mistakes, mornings we didn't want to wake up to, and nights that felt endless. The crowd clinked their glasses, a ritual I'd learned to fake along with everyone else. But inside, my chest tightened. I noticed a tremor in her hand as she reached for her wine glass. Her laugh sounded brittle. And then, that damn phone buzzed again. She glanced at it, eyes flicking just long enough for me to see. A shadow of recognition. A secret I wasn't supposed to catch flashed across her face. I remembered the messages I'd found weeks ago, hidden in the small, quiet corners of our lives. The dinners she worked late, the coffee meetings that weren't coffee at all, the cryptic texts that deleted themselves as soon as I walked in the room. I confronted her once, months ago. She had cried and swore nothing was happening. But my gut, that stubborn, screaming instinct, never let me forget. I paused, letting the applause for my opening words fade. "Anna," I said, keeping my voice casual, deceptively calm, "you've made me the happiest man in the world." But happiness sometimes wears a mask, doesn't it? A ripple passed through the crowd. Whispers. Nervous laughter. I saw her lips pressed together, as if she were holding back words that wanted to escape. The message buzzed again. I ignored it because I didn't need to read it. I already knew. Her eyes finally met mine, and in that glance, I saw it all. Fear, guilt, and the fleeting shadow of desire. Not for me, but for someone else. The years of comfort, of trust, suddenly felt brittle, like glass ready to shatter under the slightest pressure. I gripped the microphone tighter. I've always believed honesty is a gift. I continued, my voice low, resonant. And tonight, I think it's time we unwrap some truths. All of them. The crowd shifted uneasily. Glasses clinked nervously. Anna's hand trembled over her wine. And then her phone buzzed once more, loud, insistent, almost mocking. I swallowed hard. I was about to confront her. Here, now, in front of everyone. And I had no idea how much of us would survive the next words. I took a deep breath, letting the microphone feel like a weight I could use, a shield and a sword at the same time. The room held its breath. Anna's eyes were wide, her fingers clutching the stem of her wine glass like it could anchor her. "I love you," I said, slowly, deliberately letting the words fill the silence. I thought we built something unshakable. I let that hang, heavy as a chandelier over our heads. But love doesn't survive in lies. And I know, Anna, I know what's been happening behind my back. The gasp came first in the crowd, then whispers, then a sharp silence. I watched her swallow, pale and trembling. I found the messages, I said, voice steadied, and I felt the dinners, the calls, the texts she thought I'd never see. Her lips parted as if to speak, then closed. Her eyes filled, not with anger, not even shame, but an almost fragile panic. It wasn't like that, she whispered, voice breaking. I didn't mean for it to. I shook my head, cutting her off. It doesn't matter what you meant. What matters is this moment, this truth, right here, in front of everyone. I scanned the room. Friends, family, colleagues. They watched, a living jury of our shared past. I should be furious, I admitted, my hand shaking slightly around the microphone. I should walk out, never look back. But I'm not leaving yet, because you're still the woman I promised forever to. And tonight, you have a choice. Tell them, tell me, or stay silent and let the truth fester. She crumbled, the first real crack in the mask. Tears streamed freely down her face as she whispered, I never wanted to hurt you. It just happened. I thought I could stop it. But I lied. I lied, and I'm so sorry. The hall was still. The music had stopped. The clinking of glasses had vanished. And in that raw, unpolished moment, I realized something. Betrayal doesn't just break hearts. It exposes them. And now, in the wreckage, we had a choice. I set the microphone down. I didn't yell. I didn't storm out. I just took her hand, trembling, and whispered, we can try, or we can let this end tonight. The party continued around us, oblivious to the earthquake between two people who had promised forever. And for the first time in months, I felt the truth, naked, painful, human. Life isn't clean. Love isn't simple. But even in betrayal, even in heartbreak, there's a lesson. Honesty, however cruel, is always the only way forward. If this story hit you, leave a comment sharing what you do in my place. And don't forget to subscribe, because the hardest stories are always the ones that stay with you.